Stop for a second and think about the last photo someone took of you. Not the one you posed for, the one you didn't see coming. The one where someone pulled out a phone at a birthday, at a dinner, at the holiday table, and caught you mid-laugh, mid-sentence, completely unguarded. Did you reach for that photo to look at it? Or did you quietly hope nobody would post it? Because if there was even a small part of you that wanted to grab that phone and delete it before anyone else saw your smile, then you need to hear what I'm about to tell you, especially in the next few minutes, because there's something most people over 55 are never told about their teeth. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your smile changed, why nothing you've tried has truly fixed it, and the simple 2-ingredient approach thousands of Americans quietly started using at home instead. Stay with me. This matters more than you think. Because here's the part nobody says out loud. It didn't happen overnight. That's what makes it so cruel. Nobody wakes up one morning with yellow teeth and a closed lip smile. It happens so slowly that you don't even notice you're hiding, until one day you already are. 1 cup of coffee every single morning. Year after year after year. A little red wine with dinner because you earned it, because life is short, because that's what normal people do. Maybe cigarettes at some point, maybe decades ago, maybe last week, it doesn't matter because the stains don't keep a calendar. And then there's the one nobody can escape. Age itself. Time. The simple, quiet passing of years that thins the bright outer layer of every tooth and lets the darker, yellower layer underneath start showing through. And here's the frightening part. The part I really need you to sit with for a moment. You didn't notice it happening. That's not a small detail. That's the entire problem. Think about it. If your teeth had turned yellow in a single day, you would have panicked. You would have done something. You would have fixed it immediately. But that's not how it works. It worked on you slowly. A shade darker this year. A little more next year. So slowly that the woman in the mirror always looked normal to you. Until you saw yourself in someone else's photo, in someone else's lighting, and for one terrible second you didn't recognize your own smile. And in that second, something inside you changed. You started smiling with your lips closed. Not on purpose. You never decided to do it. Your face just started protecting you. You began covering your mouth when you laughed. That quick little hand that goes up before the joke even lands. You started stepping to the back of group photos. You started saying, "Oh, don't take one of me," before anyone even asked. And the cruelest part, you began to feel older than you actually are. Not because your body aged, because your smile went into hiding, and your confidence followed it into that same dark room and shut the door. Now here's where it gets worse, and I'm not going to soften this because you deserve the truth. The longer those stains sit on your teeth, the harder they become to deal with. This is not an opinion. This is simply how it works. After 55, years of build-up don't politely wait for you to get around to them. They settle in. They go deeper. Every morning coffee, every dinner glass of wine that passes while you're waiting for the right product is another day the discoloration sets a little further. And another day it becomes a little more stubborn than it was yesterday. So while you're standing there hesitating, the problem isn't pausing with you. It's moving. Quietly. In the wrong direction. Every single day. That's the real fear here. It was never really about the color of your teeth. It's about waking up one morning, a year from now, 2 years from now, and realizing you spent all that time hiding your own smile, and the stains only got darker while you waited. And I know exactly what you're thinking right now, because almost everyone over 55 thinks the same thing. I already tried fixing this. Of course you did. You're not careless. You're not someone who just let it happen. You fought it. That's exactly why this is so frustrating. You bought the whitening strips. The ones that slide off, that make your gums sting, that promise a dramatic difference and deliver something so small you have to squint in good lighting to convince yourself it worked at all. You bought the expensive toothpastes with the confident packaging and the words advanced and professional printed across the front. Maybe you went further. Maybe you sat in a dentist's chair and watched a number on an invoice climb into the hundreds, for some of you into the thousands, for results that faded faster than anyone warned you they would. And after all of it, you still found yourself doing the closed lip smile in the next photo. Let that sink in for a moment. You didn't fail. You followed the instructions. You spent the money. You did everything you were told to do, and the mirror still looked the same. So at some point, the frustration stopped being about your teeth. It became something heavier. It started to feel like you'd lost something. And worse, like getting it back would cost more money. You weren't sure you wanted to spend on one more product that overpromises and underdelivers. If any part of that hit a little too close, stay with me, because this is exactly where things start to turn. And in just a moment, I'm going to explain the simple approach people quietly switch to instead. There's also a practical step-by-step guide in the first link in the description, showing exactly how people are using this method at home before their stains keep getting darker over time. Keep that in mind. But don't go yet, because the reason this works is the part almost nobody understands. Here's what changed everything for me. I'll be honest. When I first heard people quietly talking about a homemade toothpaste made with just 2 simple ingredients, I ignored it completely. I rolled my eyes. How could 2 ingredients from a kitchen possibly compete with whitening systems that have entire marketing budgets, glossy commercials, and shelves of pharmacy space? It sounded too small, too simple, almost silly. But the more I actually looked into it, the more one detail stopped me cold. The people seeing real changes weren't doing anything dramatic. They weren't following some complicated 10-step ritual. They weren't spending a fortune. They were doing something almost boringly simple, being consistent every day with ingredients already known for helping lift the kind of surface stains that coffee, wine, smoking, and decades of ordinary life leave behind. And suddenly the whole thing made an uncomfortable amount of sense. Because here's the truth nobody profits from telling you. The simplest things get ignored precisely because nobody makes billions of dollars advertising them. There's no commercial for 2 ingredients you might already have in your home. There's no glossy box. There's no salesperson. So it stays quiet, passed between regular people who got tired of being disappointed, instead of being shouted from every screen. And once I understood that, everything reframed itself. Surface stains from coffee, tea, red wine, and age don't appear all at once. They build up gradually, layer by layer, over years. And anything that builds up gradually responds far better to small, consistent habits than to one aggressive treatment somebody uses once, gets discouraged by, and then abandons in a bathroom drawer. That's the part the expensive products quietly depend on you never realizing. That's the real reason this little 2-ingredient idea caught so many people over 55 by surprise. Not because it promised them perfect, blinding movie star teeth. It didn't. And honestly, that's exactly why people trusted it. Because here's what I noticed, talking to people who'd tried it. Almost none of them were chasing perfection anymore. That dream had quietly died somewhere around the 3rd product that didn't work. They weren't asking for a Hollywood smile. They were asking for something so much smaller and so much more human. They just wanted to stop covering their mouth when they laughed. That's it. That was the whole dream now. They wanted to be in the photo with their grandchildren instead of behind the camera. They wanted to laugh at the dinner table without the hand instinctively flying up. They wanted to feel, even for a moment, like the version of themselves they remembered being. And when you hear it put that way, something becomes obvious that most people get backwards their entire lives. Confidence was never about being perfect. It never was. Confidence is just the moment you stop hiding. That's all it has ever been. The most confident person at any table isn't the one with flawless teeth. It's the one who isn't thinking about their teeth at all. That's the real thing that was taken from you. Not whiteness. The freedom of not thinking about it. And that, exactly that, is why these simple natural approaches started spreading so quietly between people who were completely worn out by expensive whitening products. They didn't want another routine to dread. They wanted something realistic enough to actually stick with. Something simple, affordable, and consistent. Because consistency, not intensity, is what surface stains actually respond to. Now, let me be very clear about something, because I respect you too much to pretend otherwise. This is not magic. Nobody is promising you'll wake up tomorrow looking 25. Anyone who promises that is the exact kind of over-promising you're already exhausted by, and you'd be right to be suspicious of it. What people are actually describing is something quieter and far more believable. Small surface stains, the everyday kind from coffee and wine and time, gradually becoming less of the first thing they notice in the mirror, when the approach is done consistently, the simple way, at home. And for someone who has spent years feeling embarrassed by their own smile, believable is worth 100 times more than miraculous. Because believable is the one you'll still be doing next month. Miraculous is the one already abandoned in the drawer. So here's where you actually are right now. And I want you to hear this clearly. There is still time. There's still time to feel comfortable smiling again. There's still time to stop quietly bracing every single time someone reaches for a camera. And there's still time to stop believing the lie that yellow teeth simply come bundled with getting older and there is nothing you're allowed to do about it. That belief is the most expensive thing you own, and it isn't even true. Most people over 55 don't need something complicated. They've had complicated. Complicated is what failed them. What they need is something realistic. Something simple enough that they're still doing it 3 weeks from now, which is the only time frame that has ever actually mattered. And maybe that's the real reason this quiet little 2-ingredient toothpaste caught so many people off guard. Not because it shouted the loudest, but because it gently reminded them that something they thought was gone for good. That easy, unguarded smile might not be as gone as they were told. If you're tired of hiding your smile, tired of dodging photos, tired of spending money on products that never deliver what the box promised, there's a complete breakdown of exactly how people are using this simple approach at home, step by step, in the pinned comment right below this video and in that first link in the description. Take a look while it's still in front of you. And if anything in this video made you see your own smile a little differently, even for a second, then do one small thing for yourself. Subscribe and stay with us. Because there's a reason so many people over 55 are finally turning away from the expensive, the loud, and the disappointing, and quietly going back to the simple. In the next videos, we're going much deeper into the small, everyday habits that secretly shape your confidence, your appearance, and how you age, the things almost nobody is telling you, and the things that quietly change everything once you do. Your smile has been waiting for you the whole time. Don't make it wait any longer.